Okay.
You can actually start by sharing your own screen because I will just jump straight to what we have today. I don't have like a PowerPoint presentation here, so you can just do that intro, then we get at it. No, I can't. I cannot see your screen. Yeah, it's up. Actually.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to week two of January of 2023, where we discuss about data analytics and how to get started, how you can lay your hands on tools for data analytics. So I can see Ilade. Good evening. How are you doing? So welcome, and we are starting now, and we are still trying to share my screen right now. Yeah. So I hope the audio is audible for a while. Okay, if you are here with us, can you just let us know where you are joining us from? Are you from Nigeria? Are you from UK? Are you from US? Or you are from Canada? So we'd like to know where you are joining us from. Okay, let me share this. Okay, okay. Yeah. So let's do this. So today, uh, I think last week we started our class and then we discussed about data analytics, the intro to data analytics, and you were able to give us insight on what we are going to learn in this class, and then what is going to likely to be like the different role that we have in data analytics. You talk about the if I'm to recap what you did last week, we talk about uh, the definition of data itself, data type. We talk about the roles in data. We talk about category of data like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, and we talk about the roles, and then we talk about you were able to break it down into, I mean, the data type, so that we have numbers, we have uh, text, which is character, we have numbers, we have integer like maybe decimal point and so on like that. So today we just want to know, you made mention of different kind of tool we can use for data analytics. So, and we decided to go along with Microsoft Excel this time around. So we had today, now we want to see how we can make use of Microsoft Excel for data analytics. So how that can make our work easier. Maybe using Microsoft Excel for us to be able to achieve our goal, and maybe as if we are using other tools as well. Maybe for people who are using Tableau, for people who are using Power BI, for people who are using different tool to achieve their data analytics work. So I'm trying to share my screen for everyone to see um, what we'll be discussing about. Okay, I think I'm here. So I can do this. Yeah, Tunde, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Like, I'm kind of excited to learning Microsoft Excel. Majority of us we've seen Microsoft Excel for a long time. We have it in our different version of Office suite, Microsoft software. I mean, yeah. So we up to today we have Microsoft 365. Excel is still like powerful tool that we have within Microsoft 365. So what can you say about what do you think about Microsoft Excel? Make someone just mention Excel beside you. What will you say about Microsoft Excel, or let me say spreadsheet in general?
All right, yeah, thank you very much, Hafiz. So, good evening, everyone. So, thanks for joining us again today. Uh, Microsoft Excel is actually one of the data analytics tools that we have out there. It's a very powerful tool that you can use for your, various analysis, financial analysis, data analysis. You can use it to keep records, right? It can serve as like a small, database or information repository, right? So Microsoft Excel is actually widely used. You can use it for data entry. You can use it for data management. You can use it for accounting. You can use it for charting and graphing. Of course, you can use it for something like task management. You can use it for time management, and you can also use it for programming as well. So Microsoft Excel is actually very versatile, right? That is being used across organizations. Uh, I'm very excited. We're actually getting started with one of the data analytics tools today. So we are going to be starting from the very basics, right? So I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So, you know, majority of people always have it in mind, like maybe what does Excel can do? Like maybe, you as a graduate, you finish your university, being an undergraduate, or even maybe you have your A level certificate, and you now feel like, oh, me having as a graduate, what is it possible for me if I have this Excel knowledge, like deeper knowledge in Excel, can I at least break into maybe industry? You get, for people to be able to employ me. What can you say about that? Because majority of people, they even have basic knowledge of Excel, maybe one plus one, two plus two within Microsoft Excel, but they always like kind of seeing it as if they can't use it to make a living. I guess, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we actually have various analytics tools, right? Which Excel is part of them, and on a daily basis, we have different innovations from different applications, different tools, uh, especially today. So, as a matter of fact, Microsoft Excel can never be relegated to the background. I can assure you, it's a very important tool, right? And if you actually have a very deep knowledge of Microsoft Excel and you know how to use it to come up with a business solution, because that is exactly what companies would pay you for, to come up with a solution with their business problems. And Microsoft Excel is one of those tools that you can actually use to come up with such solutions. So if you have a deep knowledge of Microsoft Excel, I can assure you, in some organizations, maybe small or medium organizations, you definitely thrive. When we talk about organizations that probably don't have like a relational database or a big database, right? So you can definitely thrive using Microsoft Excel to analyze so many data points and come up with solutions.
Okay, someone said he cannot hear anything from his end, but I'm very sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you should check your network. I'm very sure he is very audible. So please check
I
your
think
network.
I think Hafiz, I think something like this happened last week, right? I think probably should check, your
Okay,
settings. I don't know.
I guess someone has replied that. So the system is very audible. It's very audible.
I lost for a few seconds. Can you
Okay,
just
okay.
rephrase?
Yeah, okay. I mean, if probably today now I'm trying to start learning Microsoft Excel, where do I start from, and how does it look like? Like the Excel itself, how does it look like? How do I get it installed on my system, and then how do I start working with it?
Okay. I think I get that. So, like yourself, I'm a very big fan of basics. Yeah, of course, I love basics. So, my advice for people is just to start from the very basics, because you don't know. don't have to be in a hurry. Definitely. All you need to do is just to set like a timeline for yourself. Okay, in the next couple of weeks, probably 6 weeks, you want to start learning, Excel as a tool, and you want to pick it from the basics because definitely it's basics that will help you. I can tell you that by the time you get to the most difficult aspect of, Excel, it's all about joining basics together, right? And it's going to be very, very and extremely full. Okay, so like I already talked about some few important things about all of these tools that are actually common, right? We talked about the data quality, we talked about the data formatting, right? We actually made mention of a few of them, like the textual functions, right? And what it represents. We talked about the date functions. We talked about the aggregate functions as well. So all of these things, if you can actually take them one after the other, definitely by the time you actually get to the complex aspects, you'll be able to like decipher, all of these things if you truly understand the basics.
Okay, I think that's awesome. I believe you guys can hear what Tunde is trying to, the kind of advice he's trying to give us today. If you are trying to learn data analytics, if you are trying to become a data analyst, so there are some things you have to put in place. You have to set goal for yourself. So, and you know where to start from, and then how you can achieve all these goals. So now, okay, if I want to install Microsoft Excel on my system, where do I begin from?
Yeah, I think you're an expert on that.
So,
Definitely, Microsoft Excel is actually one of Office 365 packages. We have Microsoft Excel, we have PowerPoint, we have Microsoft Word. I think most of us they are actually familiar with all of these things. So all you need to do is just to install Office 365. I think on your PC, I think you have access to all these packages definitely. So there are paid versions and there are free versions as well. So you can definitely make use of the free version of it. I don't know if you have anything to say about that,
okay.
please.
Yeah. Microsoft Excel, as you said, is a office package that everybody can. You can just go to Microsoft 365, Microsoft.com to get your, either you're buying the license or you're paying for the trial version, or you go to a store where they says all these software, the system application software. You just go there, get the copy, get a copy of Office Suite, and then you can install it on your system with the product key. So I'm very sure that works for everyone. So I think that's how you can get Microsoft Excel install your system. So other,
Yeah,
so so
yeah,
it,
please. I think I can still get some messages that they cannot hear anything. I don't know.
oh, but I'm very sure. I'm pretty sure that the system is very audible. Yeah. Or do we have anyone that can hear what you are saying? Oh, kindly confirm if you can hear me now, please, before we move forward, we proceed. Can you hear me, please?
They might be hearing.
We can proceed. So if I'm to uh, launch Microsoft Excel on my system now, how do I get started? Can you share your screen? Maybe let's see how all this thing works.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll gladly do that. Just give me a sec. Right. Okay. Yeah. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Perfectly, I can see your screen right now.
Okay,
But you
okay,
can
okay.
you
All
can
right.
simply help us to zoom. Is it zoom out so we can see it clearly?
Okay. I don't know. You want me to make it bigger? Like,
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's fine now. It's fine.
okay. Yeah, this is what Excel spreadsheet looks like. We actually call it Excel workbook, and inside of a workbook, we can have different sheets. As we have right here, you can see multiple sheets on the net here, which are what we are going to be talking about today. And as you can see, we have different, uh, uh, spreadsheets right there in a workbook, right? So if you look at the top, just at the top, you see different functionalities. The top are actually called, ribbon, and we have different tabs on the ribbon, and lastly, analysis. And if you actually move away from there to the insert pane, insert tab, we can see different panes under the insert tab as well. So all of this, most of these functionalities are what we are going to be making use of today. Right, and you can see we also have the page layout in case you want to, set your page layouts for probably printing and all of that. You want to add some backgrounds and the likes, and the data tab as well with so many functionalities. We have the review tab, we have, the view, the app tab, and as well, we also have the file tab, which you can actually, use to see, most recent files that you've worked on, and you can as well use it to save as well. So all of these guys we're going to be talking about. Like I said, this is a workbook, an Excel workbook with different spreadsheets, right? And I'm going to be doing an intro with this, first sheet that we have right here, right? Excel is actually a sheet with rows and columns, right? And have row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 million plus. Have a column and a row meet is what they call a cell. So we have different cells just to guide us while we actually enter or impute our data and all of that. So we are going to be, talking much more about the data that we have inside of these cells. I mean, different cells that we have in a spreadsheet, right? If you look at this, I highlighted the first column and the first row. And if you look at it, it tells me that, okay, this particular cell is cell A1 as we have it. So if I actually, I reference another column, right? I highlight another column and just come anywhere to, pick up the row as well. You can see where the column and the row intersect is actually the cell. If you look at this cell right here is cell, this particular one that we have right is cell B7. Okay, this is actually cell B7. So if you click on it, so you can see the whitish one right there is what we call the cell B7. So by the time we actually get started fully, we are going to be referencing different cells, and it's going to be giving us, what's it called, the intersection number of each cell that we have right here. So, like I said, Microsoft Excel can be used for a lot of things, right? It can be used for a lot of things. It can be used for, data entry. It can be used for, time management. It can be used for financial reporting and all of that. And for you to be able to get all of this done, definitely you need data. It's either you generate your data yourself or you get that data from somewhere to analyze. So what we are going to be doing to, right, then from there we can start testing out all of the functionalities like the functions, the textual functions, the aggregate functions, and date functions, logical functions, lookup functions that we actually spoke about few of them last week. So I will just do something right now. I'm going to just put my name into this cell, right? As I write my name here, if you remember from last week, I said anything that actually has like a variable character, it has automatically a text data type. If you are writing anything in text, in letters, definitely it has a text data type. So if I actually click on enter, definitely I have this information on cell D4, which means the column D and what? And row 4. So it gives me like a cell D4. And if you click on it, if you look at this, box right here, it tells me that, okay, I have my information written in cell D4, right? This is actually my first name. I can also want to write my last name in another cell, right? As we have it right there. So I can write my first name right there. So I have in two different cells, two information, which is information, which is last name. And if you notice right here, right, if as I actually hit enter, you see that this particular information falls to the left side of the cell. So what this tells you is that if you have any textual, information written inside a cell, it automatically actually falls to the left side of the cell, right? But reverse is the case for numbers. So for instance, if I want to type my age, right, okay, let's say I'm 57 years of age. If I hit enter here, you can see that it automatically actually falls to the right side of the cell.
Tunde,
So you can actually also use this to differentiate,
hello, hi
a
Tunde.
textual data type. Yeah,
I
please,
can't
can you
see
hear
what
me?
you are typing.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
I think the
This
screen
is
is a
serious.
bit stagnant. You can maybe you should unshare and share again.
Okay, let me just try to do that there. Let me stop presenting and just reshare. Oh, that's serious.
Yeah, I think it's fine now. You can just zoom in so that we can see.
Okay, can
Uh,
you see?
yeah, you can zoom in now. Yeah, I think this is fine. This is fine.
Okay, this is cool, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just for guys to see this properly. So what I was actually saying initially that, okay, like I explained last week. So if you have like a text, information in a cell, it actually automatically falls to the left side of the cell. So my surname is also in text format. You can see automatically it actually falls to the left side of the cell. But if you have a number like I wrote 57 right here, it actually falls to the right side of the cell. So with this, you can even differentiate, a number data type and a text data type as well. So we have actually different data type. We also have something called true or false, which is what they call Boolean, right? It's a Boolean true or false. If I come right here and I said, okay, if this guy is true, if I put true right here, right? So you can see true is a Boolean data type. It actually falls in the middle. So all of these guys are actually very important to understand before we actually get to the complex parts of Microsoft Excel. So another thing I would like to buttress on, like I said last week, that okay, for instance, one thing that is very important for different organization is how their businesses actually grow over time. So time is of the essence. That is why in any company data, you definitely find like a date time column. So all of these things are actually very important. You analyze by date, you want to do time analysis, you want to do date analysis, you want to do time analysis. information. Okay, you have a column that actually has date information. You can extract different level of date granularity from that particular one. For instance, you can okay if we have like a date now, we want to have it in let's say in day months, right? Okay, depending on the format that you want to use, or depending on the format that your country uses, right? It could be year, month, day. It could be year, day, month. It has different formats. All right. So if you have something like this, you agree with me that you can extract the day from this. You can also extract the month from this. You can also extract the year from this as well. So one of the most important things we are still going to be talking about is there are some functions that are actually very important in Excel. For instance, if I say, okay, I want Excel to give me today's date, for instance. So if I come here and type, okay, today, right, you can see if you are starting any formula or any function in Excel, you have to start it with equality sign. It's because if I just come here and start typing today, nothing is going to pop up, right? Or just even close parentheses, that is what is going to return. So if you want to use any function, you want to come up with a solution in Excel, you just have to start with equality sign, right? You just come right
You
here and
made
say,
mention of today function. Okay, okay. Were you able to type it on your okay? So, but I guess it's not showing the current date, right?
no, I'm actually still on that.
Okay. All right.
I'm actually still on that. We have it right here. I'm not sure. Can you guys see what I'm doing?
Yes, I can
So
see
it
your
is of
screen
the
clearly. Yeah,
it is of
it's
the essence that you see what I'm doing,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah. You can see it now.
you don't start going back and front. Okay. I was just saying that okay, if you want to come up with any function in Microsoft Excel, you have to start with equality sign. For instance, if I want Excel to return for me today's date based on the set date and time on my PC, right? And I start typing today, nothing is going to happen, right? Excel is not going to see this as a function, right? So if I hit enter, definitely what is going to return is what I typed. And this is like a textual kind of information. That's why we have it on the left side of the cell. But if I want Excel to just come up with today's date for me based on the set date and time of my laptop or my PC, I start with equality sign, right? And the same thing is applicable to every other functions in Microsoft Excel. If you want to write a function, you want to write a formula, you need to start with an equality sign. If not, Excel is not going to respond. So if I tell Excel to return today's date for me, there is a function in Excel that is called today, right? As soon as I just click that, you can see it has no argument. I don't have to put anything in it. I don't have to wrap anything inside of the open and close parentheses. I just need to close that, right? And Excel is going to look at my PC's dates and time, right? And it's going to come up with today's date, right? As you can see, today is 11th January 2023, right? That is why Excel has actually returned for me today's date. I'm sure we get this. And there is also another function that is called now. So now is the difference between now and today is that dates, today returns only the dates, while now returns both dates and time. So if I just beside it, if I hit equality and I start typing now, you can see the formula, the description is right there. You can see what they wrote there, that okay, it returns the current date and time formatted as a date and time. So I don't need any argument. I only need to just open and close parentheses. And when I hit enter, it's going to return for me the date and time. Don't mind the hashtag that you see. What it means is that, okay, the information that we have in that cell is actually much more than the width of this particular cell. So what we need to do right here is just to come to the edge of the column header right here, which is age, is either we double click on it to fit the edge like this, or we can just drag it far away, or just drag it backwards as well. So if you are having hashtag like this, what this tells you is that, okay, the information we have in that cell is actually longer than the width of the cell itself. So to solve that, you just double click on the edge of the column, or you just drag it, so it's going to return. And you can see what now has returned for us right here. So we are actually going to, at a time, we are going to be doing a lot of, time intelligence analysis by the time we actually get to the later parts of the series, which is actually extremely important, right? So all of these things are what we need to look into. And another thing that I'm just quickly going to say is the date function. So sometimes we want to enter information like, okay, today's date, or a particular, information like someone's age or whatever. So you can enter it in form of, okay, 2022, 18, 1, and all of those things. Or you can also use a date function to come up with all of this information. For instance, is that if I hit equality and say date, right, you can see there is a function called date. And what is the description right there? This description says it returns the number that represents the date in Microsoft Excel date time code. So if I hit on tab or double click on it, you can see that it has different arguments. I don't know if you can see the argument beneath it. So you can
Yeah,
see the
but
date
the
into
major is that
bracket.
we cannot see the arguments. I don't know why. Is it because you
Oh,
are not
let me.
sharing the whole screen, or what
I'm
happened?
actually I'm actually sharing the whole screen. Let me just try and make it larger a little.
Okay,
Then
okay.
I don't know why. Actually, don't know why this is happening. Let me just take this off and try to, like, make it a little larger. Can you see this guy properly now?
Yes, it's clear.
So if I come here and say, okay, I want to just write a date. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I expected this function to at least give us the info about the function.
Yeah. The argument, right?
Yes, or the parameter needed to be passed.
But
But no problem. I'm very
but
sure
it's
that
but it's
you.
not giving us, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can
Okay.
see it there.
Well,
I'm very sure you. From
wow.
your end, you can see it clearly.
Of course, I can see it very clearly. Okay, no problem. The argument is just what is required by you to impute into the parentheses, right? The open bracket, and when I say parentheses, it's just the bracket. So that's actually another name for it. So and the argument that we have right here is year, month, and day. So Excel actually expects us to impute these three information, right? So if I say, okay, 2021, so, and all of these arguments are actually separated by comma. So I finish up with this. It takes me to the month aspect. Okay, I want to say 01, which is January, and the day I want to say is the ninth day, 09. I've actually input all of the information that we need in here. So if I close the parentheses and hit enter, what Excel is going to do for me is that it's going to return the date as I input, right? So this is another way in which you can actually leverage the date function to return a date inside of a cell. So I just wanted this to be an intro just for us to see different ways in which you can actually come up with different stuffs inside of Microsoft Excel. So very quickly, we are going to be going into the textual function aspect of it. All right. And like I said last week, we are going to be taking the data type one after the other, and everything we just, be combined together into one by the time we start the full analysis. So like I have on this page right here, so we are going to be talking about textual functions. And what are textual functions? Textual functions are those that you can use to actually manipulate all the text related inputs inside of each cell or column, right? And we have so many textual functions, right? We have from upper to lower to proper to trim to concatenate, right? And all of these things to replace and all of these guys. So we are going to be looking at the most important one. We have the left, the right, you know, how each of these guys can be used to actually make sense of our data. I spoke a little about data quality in the last meeting, and data quality is one of the most important thing in analysis. So if you don't, if the quality of your data is not right, definitely your data or your output is not going to be right as well. So in analysis and even in life, is garbage in, garbage out. Is what you feed all of these tools that you get in summary at the end of the day. So we are going to be look at each of these functions. So we are going to start with text functions and how they can be leveraged, right? So as you can see on my screen, what we are going to do here is just to uh make use of the upper and lower functions. And as you can see, the definition of upper and lower functions, what they do is transform, the text into upper and lower cases. All right. So, for instance, and the syntax, what you need to impute inside each of the cell is just this guy. So upper function, then the text parameters or the text arguments. The only thing it requires is an argument, just the text argument that you want to transform into another information. So like I have on the right, for example, I have the first name and the last name. If you look at the first name column, you can see that all these guys are actually written in a proper format. Proper format means that you start with a capital letter in what you want to put into the box, then the rest will come with lowercase, right? That's the proper format. And you can see the last name column actually has everything in uppercase. So what we want to do is to transform the one that we have in proper case into uppercase. Then we want to transform the one that we have in uppercase into a lowercase, leveraging both the upper and the lower functions, right? So this is very simple actually. So you want everything to be uniform at the end of the day, because one of the most important thing is just to ensure that okay, your data is uniform. The uniformity of your data is also very, very important, right? So if you look at the upper part, so we want to transform the first name. So let me just put it like this, that okay, first name upper. Okay, right? So what we need to do is just to make use of the first cell, right, and reference what we want to transform. So if you look at this cell, like I said earlier, don't forget that if you want to write any function in Excel, you need to start with an equality sign, right? So inside of this cell, you hit equality, right, and you start typing the function that you want to use. In this case, you want to use an upper function. So if you come and start typing upper, IntelliSense will come up with everything that actually falls under you and all of that. And you can see, just like I said earlier, that okay, it converts a text string to all uppercase letters. So all you need to do is just to double click on this guy, or you hit tab on your PC, then you can now reference what you want to transform. So what are we referencing? So we are referencing this guy Tunde, because it is everything that we have in this
Can you
column
please
that we
zoom
want to
in your
transform.
screen?
Okay. Let me just try to do that now. I don't know why it should be picking it up like with no stress. I don't know why it's happening this way. Probably we need to work on this guy. Right. So can you see it properly now?
Yes, I think this is better. Guys, can you see the screen? Hope everything is looking good from your end.
Okay,
So
let's.
if you have any question,
Oh,
if you have anything
yeah.
to say, you can actually uh, drop your comment or ask your question. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Thanks. So let me just move forward, right? Okay, and apologies. These are the list of my classmates in university, so I just had to like come up with something very quickly. Okay,
Eh,
okay, all right. So now, like I said, so we are going to be transforming what we have in the J column, everything we have under in the last name column, I mean the last name header into a lowercase. And like I said in the beginning, that if you want to leverage the function in Microsoft Excel, you need to start with an equality sign, okay? And that is exactly what we are going to be doing, because if we actually reference upper right now, nothing is going to happen. It's not going to give us, all of those functions, right? IntelliSense is not going to come up. Okay. So now, but if you start with an equality sign and you start typing any letter, is IntelliSense is going to bring all of those functions that actually fall under, the first letter that you typed into it. So if I say upper, and you can see the definition is just to convert a text string to all uppercase letter. So it's either I actually double click on it, so you can open the parentheses, or I hit on tab on my PC, then it opens up the parentheses. So what do we need to do? It has just a single argument, which is the text we want to transform into uppercase. And what is the text in this case? We are talking about all of the information we have in the first name header. So we are going to reference the first one under it, which is Tunde, right? And you can see what it gives us there is that, okay, Tunde is actually in J5. Don't forget, where the column and the row intersect is a cell. So which means Tunde is actually in column J and what, row 5. That's why we are having J5. So we don't need any extra information. This is only what we need. All you need to do is just to close your parentheses, right? And when you close your parentheses, you can now hit enter. If you hit enter, you see what has happened. It has transformed Tunde from the proper format
from the proper format
into
to
an
uppercase.
uppercase format.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what
yeah.
do? You might be asking yourself that, okay, am I going to be writing this formula one after the other inside of this cell? So Excel doesn't work that way. So we have to be smart as well in everything you do. That all we need to do is just to come to the first one and drag it down to the last one. Is either you double click on the bottom edge of the cell you just wrote this function, or you just come there and drag it down. You drag it down to the last one, and it fills all of those information automatically.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure. I'm
I'm
sure.
I'm
I'm
very
sure we
sure,
get
like
that.
even though some people have been using Excel for a while, for them to be able to do something like this, they might even try to retype all these first name in order to get what they want. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
this is
fine.
cool, this
It's
is
fine.
awesome, and some people will just be like, oh, that means I've been wasting my time all these days. So yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
I
So
think
what you
this is
can
okay.
actually do in under 5 seconds, you can actually spend 10 minutes on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you don't know how the whole thing works, so that is just
So
how it
guys, don't
works.
let Microsoft Excel start using you. So it's better you continue using Microsoft Excel. So that's just it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah, thanks. Can we move ahead now?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Let's see
Okay,
what we
okay,
have on
okay.
the
All
board.
right. So
I'm
let's
even
just
sure
transform the last.
anyone they've understood what we have now, so they can fill in the second part, the lower.
Exactly. I know someone would have actually jumped into the lower one and
Yeah,
just try it out.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it's as simple and as cool as that, right? So now we are going to be transforming this guy that we have under the last name into lowercase. So let me just make it more descriptive. I can say this one is last name, right? So I can we want to transform it into lower, right? So the same thing that we do here is what we are going to be doing here. Okay, the only difference is that we are going to change the function from upper to lower. So that is exactly just how it works. So if you come to the first cell, like we did for the first one, we start with an equality sign. Then we start writing LO, and you can see all of those functions that actually fall under, LO, category. So if you start typing lower, and you can see we have it right there. So just hit on tab, or you double click on it. Then we now reference, the column that we want to transform. So, which is the last name. You hit on that, and you can see it is under K5. So cell K5, right? So what do? We close the parentheses, which is the bracket, and we hit enter. So once we hit enter, you can see everything has been transformed from uppercase to lowercase, right? And what do we do for the rest? Don't forget, it's either we drag it down, or we are going to use the second aspect of it by actually double clicking on the edge, and it fills the rest of the cell. So let's just double click on the edge. When you double click on it, you can see automatically it has actually filled, the
So
rest
by the
of
time you try
the
to
cell.
double click on that edge, it will change your cursor to a plus sign. I noticed that.
Exactly,
So by the time you want to,
exactly,
it will change
exactly.
your cursor to plus sign, something like that. So you make
Just
sure
just
that
like
you
we
have
have it.
that before you do you double click. So okay, I can see this cool. So, but we have uppercase, we have lowercase. What if in the case I just want to capitalize? Like the way we have Morakiyo, we have Ajao. So, what if I'm just trying to convert the whole thing to like the first letter to capital letter, like turning it to proper format?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just quickly look at that. We can actually look at that and talk about proper, right? Okay, this is proper. Apologies. Okay, right. What proper actually means is that you can have, the first letter to be, to be capitalized, and the rest of the letters be lowercase, right? That's what proper means. So, for instance, if we can do it for any of these three, of course, because we have these two in capital letter, and we have, the last one in lowercase, right? So if you want to transform, for instance, the last name into a proper, what we need to do is just to hit on equality sign and start typing proper, and you can see we have a function called proper, right? And when you reference any of these guys, so it turns the capitalized word into a proper format. And as you can see, from the uppercase, so it has now been
Yeah,
transformed
yeah,
to a
yeah.
proper format, right? Which means the first letter is capitalized, while the rest of the letters after the first letter are actually lowercase. This is what proper is all about. I like proper a lot. This is how I actually, uh, ensure that all the content inside my data looks like, right? So it's a very, very acceptable kind of format. So, and what do? Is either we drag it, or we double click on the edge for the rest of the cells to actually uh, be filled up. So I'm sure we get all of this. So very quickly, we are not going to waste time. We are going to look at for the last time today before we move into concatenation and other aspects from next week. So we are going to look at trim, right? Trim is also a textual function, right? So if you look at this guy, let me just zoom it a little bit. So we are going to
So
look at
please, if you
trim
are
and
joining,
relent.
if you are with us, just comment your question on the chat box, and make sure, please just do us a favor by just click on that thumbs, just to like the video, so it can recommend the video for your friend and your friend and your friend, or people around you. You understand? So just do thumbs up and then drop your question on the chat box. Thank you. And then yeah, let's see what Stream can do for us with our test.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So very quickly, we're not going to be wasting more time. I think we have like 5 minutes to end it for today. So like we have it on the screen, trim is also a textual function, right? And what it does is to remove, extra spaces before and after a text. Sometimes you might be typing information inside of the cell, and by mistake we just hit on the tab before we start imputing all of this information, right? And what Microsoft Excel does is that it counts a space as, uh, uh, as a letter, right? So if you want to write Tunde, for instance, you type a space before you start writing today. Tunde is just a 5-letter word, right? But because you've added space before you started writing Tunde, what Excel is going to do that is going to recognize that space as 1 letter. So instead of 5, so that becomes 6. Right. So if you are doing like a text analysis now, that is a disadvantage to you. So that's one of the use cases of trim. So you want to ensure that everything that you have inside of that column is actually properly trimmed before you actually start your analysis. And as you can see, like I said, it removes extra spaces before and after a text, and the syntax is just similar to what we just did with upper and lower with just trim function, and the argument is just the text that you want to trim, right? And also the len function as well. What len does is that it returns a number of character in a string. Like I explained with Tunde, Tunde is actually having 5-letter words, right? And if you use a len function to count the number of characters that you have in a text, so it's going to return in numbers what the number of character that we have in that text. So for example, now what we are going to do is just to count the number of text in each of this column. I mean, in this column, I beg your pardon. And you can see this is actually irregular. You can see what we have here. This should actually fall to the left side of the cell, everything. But we are having some, irregularities right here. So we want to ensure that everything is properly trimmed before we actually go on with whatever analysis we want to carry out on this particular data, right? So this is a social media platform. Here is platform, and you can see we have Netflix, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Telegram. So if you want to count the length of character that we have in Netflix, if you just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a 7-letter, right? And we want to use the length functions to just count this. It should normally return 7. But in this case, it's not going to return 7 because obviously we have different spaces even before we start writing Netflix. And we might have after it as well. So we want to ensure that by the time we make use of the length function, it only returns 7. So if you come into length before stream and start typing, right, and len, and what len does is just to return the number of characters in a text string, and you just hit on tab, right, and the argument is just the text you want to transform. Okay, so if we reference Netflix, which is in J5, and close parentheses, and you hit enter, you can see what it has returned for us. It has returned 12. This is not right, obviously, because when you count the number of characters we have in Netflix, it's just 7. So what it tells us is that we already have different spaces, right? Like I said, Microsoft Excel counts a space as 1, right? So you now had, we have like extra, like 5 spaces, maybe before and after. I'm not sure what it is now. I know we have for before, but I don't know if you have for after as well. So it returned 12. So if you drag this down, it fills for the rest of the cell as well. Twitter is definitely not 22 letter. Twitter is just 7 letter as well. So why are we having 22? right? It's because of the spaces that we have before and after of these letters or words that we have in each of the cells. So what do? We make use of the trim function to trim whatever space we have before and after each of these count the number again to see if trim has actually performed its function or not. So very quickly, what we're going to do is just to go into to trim. We want to trim, the social media platform column or header. So what we do? We start with an equality sign, right? Then we reference what we want to trim. So we want to trim Netflix, and sorry, I've not typed the trim function. So you trim, there you want to trim Netflix, and close the
I think it was network before. Your screen was froze. So, but it's back now. It's back.
oh,
Yeah, it's back now. It's back.
okay. Can I just go back a little?
Yes, it just when you try to drag it down. So that was when everything's.
Okay, it was when I tried to drag it down, so that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, all right, I can do that over again, obviously. If you look at what we have in the cell, all we need to do is just call the trim function and reference the cell we want to trim. Then what do? We hit enter, and you can see it has trimmed that for us, right? And what do? We can drag it down or double click on the edge, the bottom right of the cell, just to fill the rest of the information. So, and as you can see, this particular word is now different from what we have initially, right? So we now have it in a proper format. And if we come here and count what we have here, it's now going to return for us the
Okay, okay.
the
The number of
original
character, right?
the number of character that we have in each of these guys. So if you close parentheses and you hit enter right there, you see now that it has now returned 7 as against 12 that it's initially returned. So if you drag this guy down, so each of the information we have in each of this cell is now having like a proper length of character. So I'm sure we get that.
Yeah,
So that is
that's
that is
cool.
how powerful textual functions are. So
Yeah.
apologies, we won't be able to go forward with the rest. I think we pick it up from other textual functions from next week before we go into statistical function and aggregate function as well.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you have questions.
yeah, yeah. Please, guys, if you have any question, you can see the how you can make use of this powerful tool to modify your data, to manipulate your test and so on like that. So, but someone asked me a question like does the big organization use Microsoft Excel, like do they do, so if I'm kind of looking for a job, and I know Microsoft Excel, can I make myself, like, can I proud of myself that I have a skill, and like which kind of organization can employ me? Is it just like maybe a mini shop or a big organization? So yeah.
so, so so obviously, right. So if you have this skill, I'm very sure that you can thrive in any organization, either large or medium or small scale organization, right? Because, like I said during the introduction, I said no matter what new tool that has been developed today, Microsoft Excel can never and will never be relegated to the background. It is that important.
Wow, wow. So let me just buttress what you said. I've been in the line of data for a while. Let me just say, I'm kind of getting to like 6 years of experience as a data analyst, and most companies that I've worked with, I use Microsoft Excel a lot. For them, I not even within our locality is even a multinational company whereby we make use of Microsoft Excel to perform different miracles. And when you see Microsoft Excel, sometimes you feel like, oh, are you sure this is Microsoft Excel? So that's to the extent of where you need to get yourself to before you can make your, like, call yourself Excel user or a power user of Microsoft Excel. So the more you learn, the more you become, pro in this learning part. So if you have any question, let us have it within 1 minute before we wrap it up for today. So thank you guys. Don't forget to like and don't forget to share with your friend. Let them also enjoy what we are doing here. It's really really important. At least let's try to what is it called, to eradicate unemployment. Because as a graduate you need to have a skill. You need to add something to your certificate before you talk about rate of unemployment in our society, not even in our country alone, in even let me say across the whole world. So before you can say there's no job, you have to make sure that you self you are job ready. You make yourself you skill up yourself. You understand? So thank you for joining us, and see you next week, Wednesday, same place, same station. We are not going anywhere. By God grace, we meet. And happy, happy, happy data analytics. And see you next week. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Okay, bye for now, guys.
Yeah.